But David, with his tremendous intrinsic attribute, he doesn't rock the boat. He doesn't shake the situation. He doesn't get nervous. And therefore, in spite of the difficulties he's had facing Shaul, now that unfortunately Shaul has died in a war, and I heard a statistic today, which I have to search, and I don't know where the source is. Maybe it's in Divrei Yamim, I'm not sure. Could it be that the loss of Israel on the Gilboa Mountains was so great in the tens of thousands? I'm looking for that source. I heard it in the Shur, and I don't know where the Rabbi sourced it from. But if the loss indeed was tens of thousands, that had to shake the nation. The nation has to be like in a state of national depression, giving up. And there it is, David now in Siklag in the Negev. He makes a decision that maybe now the time is right. Maybe this is the time Hashem wants me to begin ruling. Right now there's no king. So he goes through, he asks Hashem through the Urim V'Tumim, through the Kohen Gadol apparently, should I take over? If so, where? The reply he gets, Hebron. We talked about the intrinsic value of Hebron, Ir Avot, the first city, the beginning of the Kinyan of Avotenu in the land of Israel is Hebron. We know it's also probably the oldest city in the world, as we're told that it's built seven years before, or whatever, before Tzoan and Mitzrayim, which is considered an ancient city. We know it's a city of the courageous. You mentioned Kalev choosing to go there when the 12 spies are sent there. So he goes to Hebron and he begins his ruling. And as he goes to Hebron, he spreads out his supporters. Doesn't make an imposition or something heavy on the people in Hebron. And we're told in the macro that he's ruling there for how many years? 7 1/2 years. So the Navi, who's writing this part? It can't be Shmuel. Shmuel's passed away. So we have two Nevi'im. One is Natan and the other is God. As the Gemara says in Masechet Baba Batra, 3 contributing Nevi'im writing Sefer Shmuel. And we're told now, in the background, 7 1/2 years. David, through Anava, humility, starts ruling. The people apparently accept him. People of the tribe of Judah. And then we see what's all happening on the other side of the ranch. Not in an international border, but the house of Shaul, the tribe of Benjamin. So there we see a leader called Avner ben Ner. God-fearing. Obviously, we're not talking about heretics. We're not talking about reform leaders or something of that nature. He apparently has taken a military rule. And he takes the son of Shaul called Ish-Boshet, one of the sons of Shaul, and he declares that he is the ruler, the next king. We asked ourselves, what is this? Purely politics? Maybe you learned it in the Pentagon, I don't know where. No. Shaul taught, apparently, he was a great Torah teacher as well. Avner is one of his great students apparently, and he has a prophecy. There's a clear prophecy that God gave to Yaakov Avinu in Beit El, quote, Menachem mechalatzacha yatzil. Let's move it this way so you're not in the ears of those people. What is Menachem mechalatzacha yatzil? And king shall stem forth out of your loins. This prophecy was told to Yaakov prior to the birth of Benjamin. So when Benjamin is now born, he understands from Benjamin will come out 2 kings. Shaul is number 1. So right now, he thinks, Avner ben Ner, that the proper thing, morally, ethically, from a Torah standpoint, is to appoint another king. It could very well be that Israel is not ripe, is not ready for one united kingdom over all the 12 tribes. And that's what happens. Where does he do it? He goes to Machanaim. We explained yesterday, Machanaim is on the other side of the Jordan River, okay, in the Giladi region, and that's what's happening. Now, let me all ask you, we're going to now deal with a place called what? That Avner ben Ner and the advisors in Pasuk Yud Bet, the Avdei Ish-Boshet, or of course from the tribe of Binyamin, they come back to Binyamin. They come back to a central place called Giv'on. Giv'ona. Okay? Can you please point for everyone here at the table in the direction of Giv'on? I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah, with the kippah. That away, that's correct. It's that away, yeah. Right. If you stand on the roof of the Machon and look north, you see a tall minaret on top of the mountain about 7-8 kilometers north of here. That minaret is known as Kever Shmuel HaNavi. Kever Shmuel HaNavi, you've seen it before? Look for it when you go on the roof.
It's funny because I was thinking about Kever Shmuel HaNavi when they pointed that way.
Thank you, but it's that way, north of us. Kever Shmuel HaNavi, you can see it clear. It's on top of a mountain. It overlooks everything else. You can see it clearly from a tall place or from driving in the area. And that's just above the great neighborhood called Ramot. Ramot, some of you've heard. Ki Hashem Ram V'Nisa, very lofty, very high. A new neighborhood built here in Yerushalayim about 42, 43 years ago. And it's tremendous in size, tremendous expanse. If you stand by Kever Shmuel HaNavi and further look north, you look down, you're looking in the area of Giv'on. Today, with the renewal of settlement and building in the Binyamin area, we have Giv'on Chadasha. Next to it is an Arab village, and you know the Arabs have done kindness with the Jewish people over the years. Ask me what kindness I'm talking about? Not killing us, but rather, that's terrible, but they've been preserving names, Tanakhic names that they received apparently from Hebrews over the centuries. And there is an Arab village called Jib. Giv'on. Apparently that's what some experts hold, that's the area. If you remember the terrible incident of the abduction of an Israeli soldier who was also a U.S. citizen called Machon Meir, which happened 25 years ago. Famous story. He was abducted, kidnapped, and unfortunately he was killed in that village called Jib. It's right next to the former Yerushalayim industrial center called Atarot. There used to be a one-lane airport in Atarot. Pikud HaMerkaz is overlooking, that's where you work, right? Pikud HaMerkaz is overlooking Atarot. In any event, it's in the heart of Giv'on. Now, do you remember also what is in Giv'on? Let's trace the Mishkan. We study this in Shmuel Aleph. The Mishkan was built initially by Yoshua ben Nun a few hundred years ago in the town of Shiloh. Shiloh was destroyed by the Plishtim, and that's where we saw the loss of Eli, Kohen Gadol, with his two sons, Chofni and Pinchas. Thereafter, the major kelim of the Mishkan was taken to a city next to, a town next to Har HaZeitim called Nov. No, Nov is not the shortened version of November here, but Nov is a town next to Har HaZeitim. What tragedy happened in Nov? We learned in Shmuel Aleph. Go ahead, David. Doeg Adomi spoke Lashon Hara.
Yeah, but he saw David there, and then he killed basically
80 Kohanim. 80 Kohanim, and destroyed the city of Nov. The Mishkan was in Nov. Shaul has begun his conspiracy thinking that David is out to get him, and he escaped, and he thought from the Lashon Hara that what? That who's collaborating with David, the Kohen Gadol, and therefore Shaul wipes out 80 Kohanim, including Goyim, called the Givonim. Because the Givonim, who are the Givon originally? Let's go back to, I'm sorry, we're going back. Let's put pieces together. Sefer Yoshua. Dor, you remember who are the Givonim? They are what type of entity?
They tricked us, huh?
That's right, they tricked us. What type of entity are they? What nation do they belong to?
Canaanites.
They're Canaanites. And they tricked us into making a brit, to making a covenant. And when we found out afterwards, it was too late. And what would they decree to be doing? What type of menial labor?
Water in the...
Shoavei mayim, chotvei etzim and shoavei mayim. They're woodcutters and they're water drawers. And where are they working? They're serving the Kohanim in the Mishkan area. Who was killed together with Kohanim in Givon? This is vital to know because later on in the Sefer, we're going to learn about the ask of revenge to wipe out the children of Shaul. Because Shaul listened to the Lashon Hara of Doeg Adomi, and he thinks that the Kohanim in Nov are collaborating with David against Shaul, and it was destroyed. Okay, where does the Mishkan go from Nov? It's a Mishnah, Masechet Megillah. No. The Arona Kodesh, very good, is in Kiryat Yarim after it was taken into captivity. It is moved to Giv'on. The Talmud teaches us the Mishkan has moved to Giv'on. Giv'on is in a town here of Binyamin. So if I ask you the question, why do you think Avner ben Ner, with the aids of the new king Ishbosheth, are traveling to Giv'on? What are they doing there? What are they doing there? They want to go to the Mishkan. They want to be in the air of the Mishkan. Sounds positive, yes or no? Yes or no? What? Of course it sounds very positive. But who also is going there? Pasuk Yud Gimel. Let's read it, verse 13. So they want to see over. So you're saying a good answer. They would like to oversee what's happening in the Mishkan. And by the way, it's the Shetach, it's the area of Binyamin. So even though the new kingdom is being set up on the other side of the Jordan, they would like to see what's happening here in Givon. Pasuk Yud Gimel, verse 13. V'Yoav ben Tzeruya. Who is he? Who is he though? He's the nephew of David. Tzeruya is the sister of David, and she has 3 sons, and they are Yoav. No, Yoav ben Tzeruya. Ma?
Yoav ben Tzeruya,
Asael. And we're going to see the third.
wait, what's his name?
Very good. We're in Perek Bet. We'll get to it in a moment. So we have Ben Tzeruya, Avdei David, and his assistants. Avishai, very good. Yatsu. Where do they go to? Vayifkashum, and they meet them. Al Brechat. Ken, Al Brechat. What? Givon Yachtav. Look at this. According to archaeological diggings, this picture over here, which is not more than about 6 kilometers away north, is what they found. Apparently the Brecha, David, the Brecha in Giv'on.
That looks like deep Brecha.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Is it filled?
But for someone like you that knows how to dive, you can swim in there.
Is it filled?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's empty today, we think. Right. This is a picture taken 25, 30 years ago of the Brecha in Giv'on. Today you need an army escort to be there, because the people living there are not so friendly to the Jewish people, so you have to send your Yechidah to take care of things in there. Now let me ask you something. I understand why the administration of Ishbosheth has arrived to Givon. But what would you say regarding the people of David? What is Yoav doing there? What do the men of David seem to be doing there? Isn't this the Shetach, the area of Bnei Binyamin?
I want to see what the response of Avner is.
Could be to see an action or response of Avner. But by the way, the Mishkan in Givon, is it exclusive to the tribe of Binyamin?
No, it's for all the tribes.
We have there the Bama Gedola, the major Mizbeach, Bama Gedola. They also maybe want to bring things, but it could be the following. David holds a grudge or doesn't hold a grudge against the house of Shaul? No grudge whatsoever. Could it be that the Givonim, these Goyim, that right now have accepted to be water barriers and wood chowder, do you think they would like to get back revenge at the house of Shaul? Their family members were killed. Okay? Could it be that David breeds the love even of these Goyim, that they may want to take what? The law into their hands and kill people from the house of Shaul and get back and do revenge? It could be. So maybe Yoav, who's a big tzaddik, truly, he's the nephew of David, he wants to see what's going on. That maybe the Givonim, they want to get their anger right now. Maybe they heard that the administration of Ishbosheth, of the house of Shaul, has arrived in Givon, and maybe there might be a clash there. So maybe they're going there. All this is theory, we can't prove it, but maybe they're going there to see, make sure everything is okay, and there's no clashes between the house of Shaul and these Givonim. Okay? What?
What is Ishmael?
He's basically a puppet right here, because the stronger person we see here is Avner ben Ner. Avner ben Ner was a military leader. He was the Sar Bitachon for Shaul HaMelech, okay? And he's overseeing things right now. Gentlemen, let's see the meeting over here in the pool of Givon. Let's read it again. V'yoav ben Tzuya v'avdei David yatzu, v'yifkeshum, and they meet. Al brechat Givon yachtav. If I stop there and analyze the first half of the pasuk, the fact that the Tanakh is telling me that they're there together, yachtav, that means things are harmonious. Yachtav from the word yachad. They're there together, and it seems that the things are just lovely. There's no problem here. Okay, yachtav. However, what happens? Let's see what happens here in the development of this matter. Vayishru eila la brecha miza, veila la brecha miza. You can imagine, okay? The brecha, here it looks like it's at least semi-circular. So, on one side of the ledge of the brecha, the people of Shaul are sitting there. The other side, the people of Din. Hey, mama nishma, okay? Maybe they take out a kumkum, make some kafeh shachor. I don't know. Maybe they have a pakal of kafeh and tea. You never know. And they're talking. Okay? So far, so good. But what's the objective? Pasuk Yudalid. Vayomer Avner al Yoav. Avner poses the following question. Yakumu nahane'arim. Why don't we let the youngsters of our groups visachaku lefanenu? The word l'sachek here, yes, you can tell me it means to play, but let's do a sport together. Let's do some sports, some calisthenics together. Fine, no problem. Vayomer Yoav, he agrees. Yakumu, let's get started. What do? And notice who starts. Pasuk Tedvav. Vayakumu, Vayavru, B'mispar. They're counted out. Shnei Masar leBinyamin, Uli Ishboshet ben Shaul, Ushnei Masar me'avdei David. Would you please tell me who are the first ones to motion and move to start the sport? It seems clearly here that Bnei Binyamin are the first ones to motion, and they're interested in whatever sport, whatever calisthenics. Okay, so far so good. Pasuk Ted Zayin, verse 16. Vayachziku ish birosho reyeu. Okay, if I were to show you, I mean, we're getting into a wrestling match. It seems, again, vayachziku ish birosho reyeu. Everyone's holding on to it's like a wrestling. How did they start the wrestling match?
Greco-Roman wrestling.
What is it called?
Greco-Roman wrestling.
Rugby, yeah, to start.
Okay. Everyone's holding on to the head of the others, apparently with their hands, obviously. And where is their sword, however? God forbid. Their sword is not out, is it? Rather, look at the words, v'charbo bitzad re'ehu. It's on their side. They're doing a sport, doing a military practice, fine. Both, by the way, are military ministers. Avner ben Ner, it was the Sarat Tzava for Shaul, and now he's leading Ishboshet. Yoav ben Tzuya was known to be a warrior, and we're going to learn that he'll be the Sar Bitachon for David. What happens though? They floor one another. Vayiplu yachtav. They floor one another. Vayikra lamakom hahu chelkat hatzurim asher begivon. Chelkat hatzurim. We're talking about an area where sharp swords are. It's a flat area. And now the things are getting out of hand. Instead of just using hands and doing a military stint or calisthenics or this type of sport, yes, Jews are using now their swords, and it's getting vicious. And therefore the Tanakh uses which word in Pasuk Yud Zayin, the next Pasuk? Vatihi, what's the next word? Unfortunately, Hamilchama. There's a war going on, Jews against Jews. It's got out of hand. It started as a sport, which is accepted right now. Okay, Vatiha milchama kasha ad me'od bayom hahu. On that day, it's getting out of hand. You can't accept this point. And what happens? Vayinagef Avner v'anshei Yisrael lefnei avdei David. We're told who is plagued, who is hit hard, who are most of the casualties on whose side? Avner. So the supporters of Ishboshet, i.e. Binyamin, have lost. We know both have lost, because when Jews are killing Jews, it's a terrible thing. So gentlemen, it must be in the air, this metach, that they're not getting along. Remember, for a period at least of almost 2 years, there's been negative propaganda against David, that David is the enemy of Shaul. And therefore, Shaul has led his soldiers running after David to the Judean desert, to here, to there, the southern Hebron mountains. Over the course of time, we've been learning this in Shmuel Aleph. Now, when you keep on running after someone like David, it has an impact on your nefesh. It has an impact on your inner being. So even though it started as an innocent sport at the Brecha in Giv'on, it got out of hand, and tensions rose. Egos became very egoistic, and Jews were killed. Pasuk Yud Chet. Vayusham Shlosha b'nei Tzruya. Remember, Tzruya, we said, is David's sister, and David's nephews are there. Like you said, number 1, Yoav, Avishai, number 2, and number 3, Asael. Why are they mentioned in that order? I think they're mentioned in that order, I would say, just because of their military abilities. Yoav is number 1, he's top. Avishai is second, and Asael is number 3. However, we're told regarding Asael that he's a sprinter. Vasael kal beraglav. He can run the 100 meters in 9.6 seconds, almost as fast as the Africans can run it. Okay? Ke'achad tzvayim asher basadeh. Tzvi. Deer. What does the Mishnah say in Pirkei Avot? Have a kal kanesha, be light like a nesher, an eagle. Ve'ratz, and run like a tzvi. Have you heard that message in Pirkei Avot? Okay? Have a kal kanesha, be light like an eagle. Have a ratz, and run as a tzvi. Okay? I dafka have one of our grandsons is tzvi Yehuda. I can't believe how fast he runs. Downhill and uphill and all these. He's so light and he's so fast. It's interesting how the name has an impact on the nefesh, how he can run. Why are we told? Why does it, look, the Tanakh here is not a sports journal. Why does the Tanakh have to tell me that Asael is a fast runner? Because we're going to see him right now in action in his great abilities. Pasuk Yutet. What is Asael doing? He wants to get at Avner. Vayirdof Asael achrei Avner. Why do you think he's running after him? Why does he want to catch him? Why does he want to kill him?
He killed someone else.
Very good. Avner, even though we said Bnei Binyamin suffered more casualties than the others, Asael thinks that Avner killed someone in the area, maybe family member, and therefore maybe Asael is the Goel Hadam. Have you heard of the term before, Goel Hadam, David? Okay? Goel Hadam. He thinks halachically, there's a Gemara about this, Masechet Sanhedrin, that he has every right to go out after Avner and kill him for shedding blood of someone in his family. And therefore, in the Chumash, we call that, in the section of Ir Miklat, Goel Adam, the redeemer of the blood. Goel Adam. Let's see what happens. Vayirdof Asael achrei Avner. He's running after him. V'lo natan lelechet al yamin v'al shmol me'achrei Avner. He doesn't weaken his pursuit, not to the right, not to the left. He continues running after him. It could be that Avner sides to the right, sides to the left, but he doesn't go for any of this. Pasuk Kaf. Vayifen Avner acharav. Avner turns around and he sees him running after him. Vayomer, and he asks him, Ha'ataze Asael? Is that you? Are you still the one running after me? It's apparently famous Asael for a fast runner. The reply, Vayomer Anochi. Indeed, I am. Vayomer Avner. You can imagine all this is happening while the one is running away. Right? Avner says to him, go to the right, or smachot to the left. Why don't you just, get off of my back and grab one of your friends, one of your young people, and grab his shirt or whatever. Don't run after me. It's enough. You're not going to catch me. It's a wasting your time. But Asael doesn't give up. He's infused, he's spirited, he's fast, but apparently Avner is not, he's not a jogger. He's very fast as well. But Avner senses that if he doesn't get him off of his back, he could be killed. So right now, Avner seems to be also in a sense of danger, sakana. What do you do? Pasuk Kaved Vayosef od Avner leimor. He continues to talk to him, Asael. Sur l'chamechar. Now gives him an order. Get out of here. stop running after me. Lama akeka arza. In other words, now there's a threat. Lama akeka arza. Akeka from the word? Very good. Lahakot. You know, if you don't get off of me, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna smack you. Apparently Yoav is the oldest one. If I kill you, how will I appear before your brother? I mean, what am I going to do? So he's threatening to kill him if he doesn't stop running after him. However, Pasuk of Gimel, Mr. Asel does not give up. Vayima'ain. Lemain, he refuses. Vayima'ain lasur. He refuses to remove himself. And then what does Avner do? Vayakeu Avner be'acharei chanit. Imagine, with the back of his sword, the rear of his sword. You know, he's running this way, and he's able to smack his sword to the rear and pinpoint exactly like that to the part of the body of Asel in order to kill him. Vayakeu Avner b'acharei chanin, on the back side of the sword, elachomesh. Elachomesh is one of the ribs, or they call it the fifth rib inside the human body. It's exactly where the liver and the mara. I forgot what is the mara in English. Not the lungs. That's rayot. I forgot what the mara is. Is that the small intestine? What's next to the liver, David? Called the mara? No, I forgot what it is. Not important. You have the English, but it doesn't say that. Okay, go ahead, gentlemen. Vayakeu Avner b'acharei chanit el hachomesh, v'teitzeh chanit me'acharav. That's it. Vayipol sham, Asel falls, vayamot tachtav, and he dies underneath him. And this causes a lot of noise. Vayikol haba el hamakom. Everyone that passes through the area, and you see the place where Asel fell, asher nafal sham Asel vayamot, and died. Vayamodu, people stand there. What are they standing there? As that they're amazed. Here happened what? A tremendous pursuit of two chief leaders. One of Binyamin called the bile, right. So exactly between the ribs and the bile, that's where he was a sharpshooter with a sword, and people are stunned to find out that the brother of Yoav, this is the most prestigious family of David, the nephews of David, they are tremendous warriors. They've escorted David in the wars and so on and so forth, and he dies there. Now what happens? Is Avner in danger? Pasuk of Daled 24. Vayirdefu Yoav v'Avishai acharei Avner. Two brothers sense that right now we are the Goel Adam. Right? Because our brother was killed. Now, I want to stop and tell you the following. There's a Gemara here, Masechet Sanhedrin, that deals with this matter. I don't remember if I put this last. Yes. Ken. There's a Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin on page 49, side 1, that deals with this piece in the Tanakh regarding the halachic side of this pursuit. Was it legal halachically what Asel is doing? Question 1. Question 2. Was Avner in a state of danger that we can impose the rule harodef achar chavero lehorgo hashkem lehorgo? Have you heard of that halacha? Someone that's in pursuit of someone else to kill him, what are you allowed to do? Preempt and kill him first. However, the Gemara deals that if he was so able to pinpoint with the back of his sword exactly in the area that it will be a penetrating blow that will kill Avner, then there's another halacha. And the halacha is that if you can defend yourself, not by killing the pursuant, but rather by injuring the pursuer, then the halacha is you have to only injure him and not kill him. This is what the Gemara discusses. Okay? That perhaps Avner was not allowed halachically to kill Asel. Why? Because if he's so sharp that he was able to pinpoint the sword in the area to kill him, then he could have well have injured him. Now, what's better halachically to do? If you can protect yourself by injuring a Jew and not killing a fellow Jew, then halachically. So this matter is discussed here. Yoav and Avishai feel that Avner went overboard. And therefore, what do? Pasuk Kavdal 24, let's read it. Vayiderfu Yoav v'Avishai achrei Avner. Now they're opening hot pursuit and running after Avner. Vashemesh ba'a. Today in our learning in the parsha, we saw the usage of this verb. Do you remember? Vashemesh ba'a, and the sun set. Okay, so it's no longer daylight time. Ve'mabo ad givat ama asher pnei giach derech midbar Giv'on. If we understand correctly, apparently Avner is going towards the area of the desert. When you're in Giv'on, you're going to the desert. Would you please tell me which direction is the desert? East or west? It's going east. It's going towards the Judean desert, the Jericho desert, going east. And that's the end of this situation. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Pasuk Kafei, verse 25. Vayitkaptu v'nei Binyamin achrei Avner. Of course, Avner is now surrounded by his fellow tribe members of Binyamin. Vayu laguda achat. They're so united, they're so together, and they're certain that what Avner did was the right thing. Right now, they're rallying after him. They are now in aguda achat, meaning one unit. Vayamdu arosh giva achat, and that's where they're standing. It's now nighttime, and they're standing together, supporting him. And maybe who stopped running after them are the two brothers, Yoav and Avishai. And maybe from a distance, they can see one another. Will they still kill one another, or will there be a peace treaty? Pasuk Avav, verse 26, follow if you can. Vayikra Avner el Yoav. Notice who's initiating the communication, David. Avner. Vayomer, he says to him, Halanetzach tochal cheref? Do you see the letter Hey in front of the word Lanetzach? That's the Hey question. Hayim. Forever will the sword be killing? Halo yadata, didn't you know? Ki marati yebachrona, didn't you know that if Asel was running after me, it's going to be a bitter ending? Va'ad matai lo tomar la'am lashuv me'achrei achiem. When will the time come that he's talking to Yoav, okay? When will you tell your members of your tribe to stop running after their brothers? Meaning, you're causing more warfare. In other words, here we have Avner initiating a peace treaty and saying you guys are at fault for what? For running after me. Now, do you understand the national concern that Avner has in his mind? He's not interested in killing fellow Jews. But right now, after the sport of wrestling, which is legal, fine. These are military leaders. You have to stay in shape. You have to show self-defense. You have to know how to do your things. That's fine, but things got out of hand, and they started killing one another. And right now, Avner's running away, and the brother is running after him, and he kills one of the brothers. And now Yoav and Avishai open up hot pursuit. When will it stop? Pasuk, the reply of Yoav. Gentlemen, read this mighty response. Pasuk of Zayin, Vayomer Yoav, Chai ha'Elohim. Kilulei dibarta, ki az me'aboker na'aleh ha'am ish me'acharei achiv. Gentlemen, do you understand Yoav's concern? Yoav says, Chai Elokim. It's a shvuah. Excellent. When we see the term Chai Hashem, by the life of God, or Chai Elokim, that is the nusach, the version of taking upon oneself a swear in the name of God. Are you allowed to swear in the name of Hashem? Yes, you are. Only if you keep it. Only if you keep it. Okay, I know we're all a little taken by shock or wonder that one of the 10 commandments is what? Hashem Elokecha l'shav. Excellent. One of the top 10, I'm not talking about the NCAA right now, one of the top 10 is Lo tisa Hashem Elokecha l'shav. You shall not bear God, your Lord, in vain. Meaning taking an oath in God's name and not keeping it. But if you're going to take it and keep it, fine. Right now, we're stopping to go to war. And he does by taking an oath in God's name. Okay? Had you not stopped, we'd really be in trouble. So he says, Ki az me'aboker na'alam, the morning arises, after the entire night. And look, they stayed there all night long, if I understand correctly, and then they separate themselves. And what will be a sign of the peace treaty or the ceasefire? Pasuk Kafchet, and with that we'll stop our short today. Vayitka Yoav b'shofar. He blasts the shofar. Vayamdu kol ha'am, everyone stands, no one is pursuing anyone. Velo yirdefu od acharei Yisrael, it's a statement in the future. No more pursuit, one Jew after another Jew. Velo yasfu od lilachem, and it's true, they did not go ahead to kill themselves. So gentlemen,
Didn't kill Avner, or Avner didn't kill him?
so what you're hinting to is that when Avner arrives in Hebron, Yoav smells something trouble here. And you're right, Yoav has the gall, the audacity, and he kills, he assassinates, you're right, assassinates Avner in Hebron, and David is very mad at him. But David, he has a very tough nephew, and the personality of Yoav causes difficulty as far as communication and working together with such a military leader. But we'll get to that when we get to that chapter. We'll continue tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem.